Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Lunchroom Syndicate at the Jock Table. Here again with another NFL all-time team. Today we are doing the Cincinnati Bengals. Not a great team. It's
No,
going to be fun.
no, they're a bad team.
We have Jay, we have Christopher, and we have shit.
Cincinnati, Cincinnati, we got a team right here in town. Ain't gonna ever let us down. Who they think gonna beat them Bengals?
We are going to be sticking with our usual here. If you have not joined us before, it is going to be 11 players on offense, 11 players on defense. That's going to be broken down on the offensive side with one quarterback, two running backs, three wide receivers, tight end, unfortunately, and then four players from any offensive position, which gives us a chance to look at kick returners, kickers, offensive linemen, and other various positions. What are we looking at on the defensive side?
On the defensive side of the ball, we will be having two defensive linemen. That includes defensive and defensive tackles, three linebackers, four defensive backs, and two from any position on defense as well. That could also include punters. On the rare occasion, we pick a punter.
Spoiler alert, we got 8 of them. We are going to be using our tier system once again for our players. It is a 3-tier system. White players are going to indicate players that are good enough to be brought up on this list, but probably not going to be making an all-time team. We have our black tier, which are damn good players, really in consideration here, but not necessarily a sure thing. And our orange tier, which is, yes, these players are on this team.
I suppose we probably should talk about them since we're doing the all-time team, eh?
Yeah, well, we're going to be going right here in order. So starting off with the quarterback.
Face of the franchise?
Oh, yeah, face of the franchise. My face of the franchise nominee for the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know. Do they have like a water boy or something in the Hall of Fame? Like, this is just sad. It's Boomer Esiason. It's there's not too many players worth mentioning at all. I don't really have a strong case for Boomer Esiason. Just the first name that I think of with the Cincinnati Bengals, and I think he's actually good outside of the realm of Cincinnati, which is a feat in itself.
Oh, I don't think it's a bad choice. It'd probably be my third choice, personally, but it's not a bad choice.
With Corey Dillon and Ken Anderson.
I wouldn't even go Ken Anderson. My face of the franchise is their franchise left tackle, their only Hall of Fame player, often considered one of the all-time great left tackles in league history, Anthony Munoz. When most people talk about Cincinnati Bengals and they think of one or two players, Anthony Munoz has always chosen part of two Super Bowl teams. Both lost, but he was part of those. He was just an absolute solid rock, first ballot Hall of Famer. Always in consideration for the top tier all time at left tackles. For me, it's a no brainer. It's Anthony Munoz.
Yeah, but we're not talking best player for them. We're talking first franchise. We're talking somebody who sells tickets. That Cincinnati team, like, you got to be good to sell tickets.
He sells tickets. He is
offensive line. You have to be good to sell tickets.
He was. That's my point.
No, not him. The team has to be good.
They made 2 Super Bowls with him.
Yes.
And they were pretty good in the 80s. They would just happen to lose to Joe Montana and the 49ers both times. He should have had a Super Bowl title, but for me, it's Anthony Munoz, and that's what I'm sticking with.
All right. Again, I don't give a shit.
And you can see, Jay is extraordinarily excited to do the Cincinnati Bengals team. They are. All right. Now we can go and do our usual here, starting with the quarterback position. And today's candidates are Ken Anderson, Jeff Blake, Joe Burrow, Andy Red Rifle Dalton, Boomer Esiason, and Carson Palmer.
Boomer Esiason up next. Boomer Esiason was my nomination for the face of the franchise, so I can't do that without saying, yeah, he's a fucking orange tier.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we have 2 orange players in consideration for 1 spot. Boomer Esiason up for face of the franchise, but as I said in my argument, best player does not necessarily mean face of the franchise. So Boomer Esiason was my pick for face of the franchise. Ken Anderson, I'd take as starting QB though.
Ken Anderson was the Cincinnati Bengals' first actual franchise quarterback, relatively speaking, for the 80s. Led them to their first ever Super Bowl. Has the stats. Although Boomer Esiason almost has as many touchdowns and significantly less games.
Yeah, and he's got the yards per game also. So I mean, if we want to go Boomer Esiason, I think we're splitting hairs.
We are a bit here. I'm gonna go Boomer because I think most modern Bengals fans know Boomer over Ken Anderson, and I think Boomer was a better quarterback, quite frankly. All right, so Boomer Esiason is our starting quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals.
And we're going to slide on over to the halfback position. We're going to be looking at James Brooks, Corey Dillon, Pete Johnson, Rudy Johnson, Joe Johnson, Icky Johnson. I don't know why. I do that in every video. That's like another little running tag. If I run into 2 names that are the same, every name after that's going to be the same.
And the good thing with the Bengals is there is a shit ton of Johnsons on this team.
Corey Dillon, I think, is going to be an easy first pick here for us. He is orange motherfucker.
Should be a Hall of Famer, and it's a shame he hasn't gotten in yet. Next up is a guy whose touchdown to game ratio is impressive, Pete Johnson. 70 touchdowns in 94 games. That alone makes him at least a black tier and borderline orange tier for me.
Wide receivers. We are going to be looking at Chris Collinsworth, Isaac Curtis, AJ Green, TJ Hushmanzada, Ocho Cinco, Carl Pickens. AJ Green is a man beast. He's orange.
Yeah. Just had a hell of a career with Cincinnati. Borderline Hall of Famer. Will be interesting to see if he gets in or not with the era he's in.
Okay, next up we have Chad York Johnson.
He's an orange tier for me, just for the record.
All right, but if he's orange, then I'm not leaving fucking Carl Pickens behind.
Carl Pickens, yeah. I feel like he's an orange tier for me as well. He was such a great player in the 90s. Again, for some just absolute shit Bengals teams. I thought his stats would be a little bit better. I was a little bit surprised they weren't slightly better, but he was also a great punt returner, especially early in his career.
Okay, so we need 3. We have 3. Number 1 for me is AJ Green.
Yep, agreed.
Chad Johnson, number 2.
Probably, yeah. I could make a case, but it's not a very strong one for Carl Pickens. The tight end position.
Who do we have?
Oh, just a bunch of crap. We have Tyler Eifert, Jermaine Gresham, Rodney Holman, Tony McGee, and Bob. I mean, realistically, these are all white tiers, so we'll just start with Tyler Eifert. Probably the best overall talent on this board. His injuries kept him from being more dominant. When he was healthy, he was really good. So for that reason alone, I will give him a very, very soft black.
Oh, well then we have our tight end that we're going to be taking. So we are looking at Willie Anderson, Bob Mike Johnson, Michael Jordan, Max Montoya, Anthony Munoz, Andrew Whitworth, Kenny Anderson, Rudy Johnson, Icky Sticky Woods, TJ Hushmanzada, and annoying ass Chris Collinsworth.
Our face of the franchise, Anthony Munoz, he's clearly a white tier. And talk about Willie Anderson. This is an easy orange tier here. He should be a Hall of Famer. He's not a Hall of Famer. And the only reason why I can think he's not is because he played on some not great Bengals teams.
And I'm still looking at it, man. I still want to fit in 4 fucking halfbacks on here. I'm probably leaning towards Rudy and Ken. Ken Anderson, you're still on the team. Woody! You snuck in the back door, you creepy son of a bitch. The defensive line, we have to choose 2 between Geno Atkins, Carlos Dunlap, and I might as well just stop there. Eddie Edwards, Michael Mike Johnson, Mike Reed, and Justin Smith.
Well, starting with Geno Atkins, very, very strong orange tier. May even get borderline Hall of Fame consideration in a few years. I don't think he's going to quite make it, but 75.5 sacks from the defensive tackle position. Just one of the best when he played.
And I got to say, just about the same there for Carlos Dunlap. He's another real solid orange player.
Him and Geno on the defensive line for Cincinnati create some really, really good lineups.
Linebacking core, who are we looking at?
We're looking at Al Bouchamp, Vontaze Burfict, James Francis, Bo Harris, Jim LeClaire, Brian Simmons, Takeo Spikes, and Reggie Williams.
What about James Franco?
James
Franco, who was in the original Spider-Man trilogy. Spider-Man now playing at theaters near you. Reggie Williams, I guess by default he would be in orange tier, although I kind of just want to put him in black and just have all black tier up there, but he'd be my number 1 pick of the black.
Understandable, but I think this is a legitimate orange tier for them. I think he's a really 206 games played, 63 sacks from the linebacker position, in an era where linebackers didn't necessarily blitz that heavily. I think he's a legit orange tier. James Franco, 133 games played, 11 interceptions, but he did have 33 sacks also from that linebacker position. So for me, that he's on lower end black tier for me.
Yeah, he's black because I don't know if we're going to have too much else. Because next up here on the list is Brian Simmons. I mean, if we're going to compare him directly here to Jim LeClaire, who we just put in a black, then I guess Brian Simmons is an orange, but he's still no better than a black tier for me.
Yeah, really solid linebacker in the mid to late 2000s. I would put him in black.
Who do we have at defensive back?
Oh man, this team is painful. At defensive back, we have Louis Breeden, Tommy Casanova, David Fulker, Jonathan Joseph, Leon Hall, Reggie Nelson, Lamar Parrish, and Ken Riley. And a probably should be Hall of Famer. It's a damn shame he didn't make a single fucking Pro Bowl in his career. I didn't just leave it off to leave it off. He didn't. And only one first team. Ken Riley with 65 interceptions. What'd you say, tied 5th all-time the other day to me?
Something like that, yeah.
207 games played. This dude deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Get Ken Riley in the Hall of Fame this year. It is a damn shame he's not. He is an easy orange here and a top spot.
Reggie!
This one's painful.
Yeah, because you didn't want to lose him.
Well, that's the thing. Like, all right, he's an orange tier on this team. He was so good in Cincinnati. And he just was so fucked in Jacksonville. He should have been more Pro Bowls, and it's a shame he didn't. And to me, he's an orange tier on this team, and it's just...
I don't know if I would have gone orange tier. I think I would have gone like a high-end black tier. Lamar Parrish on this team, because of what I've already looked at, I'd probably go orange, but I'm not excited about it.
I think the fact he made 6 Pro Bowls is telling, is especially in the older era where Pro Bowls probably meant more than it did now or in the last 10, 15 years, so I would agree, orange.
Leon Hall. I don't know what he's auditioning for in this photo.
I love that photo.
he's like auditioning for a role that like the play is a group of it is about a play, and he's one of those people auditioning for that play within a play that doesn't get the role. Okay, now we need 2 selections here on our Alt D side between Eddie Edwards, Takeo Spikes, Louis Breeden, and David Fulcher.
Eddie Edwards. Probably should have made a Pro Bowl or 2. Didn't somehow. 84.5 sacks is pretty good, so for that alone, I'm probably going to put him at black tier.
Breeden, either way, Breeden, I'm putting it black.
Yeah, 33 picks for one-time All-Team All-Pro. First-team All-Pro. I think it's in the black.
So now we're between Fulcher and Breeden. And I know my nominee was for Breeden.
Mm-hmm.
So Fulcher with more interceptions per games played, but I mean they're really close anyway. They both have 1 first team. Fulcher has 3 Pro Bowls. He also has the sacks. Was Breeden playing at a time where they didn't recognize sacks though?
And to some extent, yeah. So it's hard. I think Fulcher was most of his career was past that point. I think 82 it became an official stat. But so I'm not gonna fault Breeden and on the sacks thing. I think it's a coin flip for me. I went with Fulcher. Just
well, we gonna shoot for it.
All right. So odds evens again.
Odd even. What do you want?
I'll stick with evens. I know I lost last time.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Oh shit. I don't know if I was on the camera or not. Huh?
You're at evens, right? You're up 1.
Yep.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, shoot. We're tied. Oh, 1, 2, 3, shoot. I'm up. This could be it. One more for me. 1, 2, 3, shoot. Oh, we're tied. This one takes it. And 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Damn.
Louis Breeden
0 for 2
on the team. Cincinnati Bengals all-time offensive lineup. At quarterback, we have starting Boomer Esiason with Kenny Anderson waiting on the bench. Wideouts, A.J. Green, Ocho Cinco, Mike Johnson, and Carl Pickens. We have 3 running backs to rotate through: Corey Dillon, Pete Johnson, and Rudy Mike Johnson. A Hall of Famer at the left tackle.
Yes.
And Willie Anderson. Defensive lineup.
The defensive lineup. We have on the line Geno Atkins, Carlos Dunlap, and Eddie Edwards. At the linebacker position, in a nickel formation, we have Reggie Williams, James Francis, and Brian Simmons. And in the defensive backfield, we have Ken Riley, Reggie Nelson, Lamar Parrish, Leon Hall, and Louis Breeden.
Thank you for joining us here at the Lunchroom Syndicate at the Jock Table. This has been Jay and Christopher talking the Cincinnati Bengals all-time team. One of the worst. For that reason, one of the best. We thank you, and deuces.
Okay, go. Go ahead now. Talk. Okay, go. Go ahead now. Talk.
Oh, we do have a nice echo going. Oh, we do have a nice echo going.
Well, I hear your laugh. Well, I hear your laugh. Well, I hear your laugh. Well, I hear your laugh.
I hear you laugh. I hear you laugh. I hear you laugh. I hear you laugh. I hear you laugh.